Welcome to this explainer from KanoonPlus. Today, we're diving deep into the critical legal arguments of a really high-stakes case.
All right, let's get right into it. This powerful statement right here, it's really the core of a major ruling from the Delhi High Court. And it all started when a top politician questioned the impartiality of the judge handling his case.
So the case centers on Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal. He filed an application asking the judge, that's Justice Swarana Kanta Sharma, to step away from the liquor policy case. You know, this whole legal maneuver is called recusal. It's basically when a judge removes themselves from a case to avoid even the slightest perception of a conflict of interest or bias.
Okay, so what exactly was the basis for this challenge? To have any shot at succeeding, an application like this needs to show what the law calls a reasonable apprehension of bias. So let's break down the specific points they raised.
You can see this was a multi-pronged attack. They didn't just hang their hat on one thing. Instead, they wove together professional family connections, supposed political leanings, and even the judge's past rulings to build this picture of what they argued was a perceived bias.
Well, in response, Justice Sharma came back with an incredibly detailed and pretty forceful judgment. She took on each and every allegation, one by one. Let's walk through how she systematically dismantled their arguments. First up, the issue of her children's jobs. The court made a very clear distinction between their careers and her judicial duties. She basically said that a litigant doesn't get to dictate how a judge's family lives their lives, especially when there was absolutely zero proof that her office was being misused in any way.
And this is where she pointed out a much bigger problem. She argued that if you accept this line of reasoning, you'd create a totally unworkable standard for the entire judiciary. It could potentially stop tons of judges from hearing cases involving the government, just because a relative happens to be a lawyer.
Next, let's talk about the claim of political bias. The judge's response was pretty straightforward. She explained that judges attend functions hosted by all kinds of lawyers' groups and bar associations all the time. She really emphasized that these events are about legal discussion and professional life, not about telegraphing some kind of political loyalty. Then they brought up her past rulings. But the court really dismantled this argument by just adding context. It wasn't that her orders were found to be legally flawed. In one of the key cases they cited, the Supreme Court's decision was actually based on a concession made by the prosecution itself, not on any mistakes she made.
And this is where the ruling really pivots. It moves beyond just answering the specific claims and starts talking about a much more fundamental principle: the need to protect the entire judicial institution.
So here's the crucial point she was making. She framed this whole recusal application not just as a personal challenge to her, but as a potential threat to the independence of the entire judiciary, from the lowest district court all the way to the very top.
Justice Sharma warned that if she were to recuse based on what she called manufactured allegations, it would set a really dangerous precedent. It could lead to a system she called justice managed, where powerful people could essentially pick and choose their judges by intimidating others to step aside. At the end of the day, the judge's conclusion was clear. The very high legal bar for proving bias just hadn't been met. The arguments, she said, were built on suspicion and guesswork, not the kind of hard evidence the law actually requires for a judge to step down.
So how did it all shake out? What was the final decision, and what does it really mean going forward?
Well, the applications filed by Arvind Kejriwal and the other accused were dismissed. So Justice Sharma will in fact continue to hear the liquor policy case, and it's now set to move ahead.
This entire ruling really leaves us with a critical question to think about. It just highlights this incredibly delicate and often pretty tense balance between a person's absolute right to a fair and impartial hearing and the judiciary's solemn duty to protect itself from baseless challenges that could weaken the entire system of justice for everyone.
Friends, don't forget to share your views in the comment box and subscribe to KanoonPlus channel.